Today, we are going to talk about Audience Anywhere and some of the newest tools and tricks that the software has available to professional tier users. My name is Dino Parada, and I'm the Product Development Manager for the Audience Anywhere software. And I will be taking you through this tour today. So when you log into Audience Anywhere, you log in immediately to this dashboard page. And today we're going to focus on the newest functionality for the Pro tier. So to start out, we're going to start by looking at the standard tier functionality in Site Analytics as our bridge into the new Pro tier settings. So for those of you that are already subscribing to the standard tier or basic tier, you have access to understanding the domestic consumer traffic in Audience Anywhere at a site level, at a domain level. So when you log in and come to the Site Analytics section, you see 915,000 unique visits. This is inclusive of all foreign and bot traffic, and domestic traffic is 98% of that number. When continuing down, you may be focused on just what consumers or what businesses came to your website. So when we look at more consumer information, here's where we start to get our more granular view on the consumers that came to our demo website over the last 7 days. So here we have now 416,000 unique visits. So that's substantially lower than the total visits that came to the whole website. But that's because those are the visitors that we were able to resolve in the Claritas proprietary ID graph to a residential consumer. And we're able to provide additional demographics on those consumers in the standard tier tool. However, what we're introducing today is the professional tier, which allows you to view your website traffic through the lens of Claritas's syndicated segmentation systems. So you'll be able to discover the top segments that came to your website and get additional demographic information on those visitors. So in the Pro tier, you'll see now in the Insights section, the segment distribution. This is the new section we've added for the Pro tier. So when I click on this, I now see 389,000 visitor households have been matched to a Prism Premier segment. So you can see that this is a subset of the total consumers that we had, which was in the 400,000s. This is a subset. So of those 400,000, these are the ones that we were able to geocode and place one of the Claritas segments to the household level. Okay, so looking at the segment distribution module in the Pro tier, you're now able to understand how your traffic breaks down to a Claritas segmentation system. So the 389,000 visitor households have matched, and there were 600,000 visits by those visitor households. So what that means is of the 389,000 visitor households, most of them came back to the site more than once to give you your total. On the left rail here, you're able to choose which Claritas segmentation system you view your traffic view. So we have Prism Premier, which is the Claritas lifestyle segmentation system, Cycle Premier, which reports on segmentation based on financial behaviors, and Connections, which is technology behaviors. As you see, when you come through here, there are orange bars lit up immediately, and you have first selected as a default the top 5 segments. If we change that view to say the top 10 segments, this lets you know which Claritas segments were your top segments for that period of time. So if we change the date here and look at the last 30 days, we'll see probably different segments light up because there's more traffic, and there's probably going to be a slight difference in your top segments. So this gives you the ability to see if you're running an ad campaign and pushing people to your site over just the last 7 days. You might be interested to see which segments came to your site over that period. And after the pixel is placed, you can go back to up to 90 days to view your site traffic. So let's stay focused on the last week. There are a lot of options here. So if you hover over one of the orange bars or any bar, you can see the name of the segment, the number of the segment, and the percent of the household visitors that comprise that segment. So I can see here that our top 10 segments are Country Squires, Cruising to Retirement, Middleburg Managers, Pools and Patios, Tool Belt Traditionalists, Multi-Culti Mosaic, etc. This will allow you to understand which segments are your top segments and activate those across various channels using the Claritas ad delivery team to help you reach those in their mailbox, in their email box, showing them display ads, or on social media. We also have the measure box here, the drop down, which can show you a different view of the same segment. So if we click from visitor households, this is the pure percentage of the total traffic that came to your site. However, a lot of Claritas current customers like to view this measure by the index, and the index offers you a slightly different view. An index of 100 is a completely normal index. That means it's no more likely than average hit on your website for that segment to come based on the national average. But what's powerful about the index is when the index is over 100, it's say an index of 170 or 173. That means they are 1.7 times more likely than just any random person to come to your site. So let's see if we dial that to 30 days if we have any more. So 1.74 times more likely for Second City startups to be one of your top groups that you might want to target with advertising, or certainly are coming to your site at this point. So that might be a segment you would want to activate across those channels, as it's indicated that they are the top ones coming to your site. The index is a little bit different than the straight percentage of total website visitors, because the index takes into account the percentage of the household visitors that you're seeing, but also what is the percent of US households that comprise that segment. So for Second City startups, it was only 1.72% of your total website visitors. However, it's only 0.99% of US households, which means it's a very small group that has a disproportionately large amount of traffic on your site, therefore giving you a higher index score. So here you can see where Pools and Patios has a higher percentage, or even here, Camos and Campers was 2.66% of your total household visitors. However, it has a higher percent of the total US households. So it's not as highly indexing of a target group for you, a target segment. So in this highest opportunity audiences table, we give you the name, the number, the percentage of US households, the percent of the total household visitors, the index, and for the number of segments that you have selected up top, so we were looking at our top 10 segments. The number of segments here are represented. So you have their top 10 segments, and we actually calculate the totals for this group as well. So if you were to target all 10 of these segments, you have 13, you're targeting 13% of US households, which made up 19% of your total traffic. And it has an index of 152, so 1.5 times more likely to be interested in your goods and services above and beyond just the average casual viewer of your website. Similarly, you are able to look at all of your top segments. So if you're not interested in knowing just the specific segments, you can click all and see details for every single segment and what their index was, and understand better the order and the rank of each segment that came to your website. So in this case, it would not be very beneficial to do any kind of targeting to connected bohemians or domestic duos or simple pleasures, because you did not get that many, a very high percentage of household visitors that came to your site from those segments. And they're a small portion of the US population, and they have very low indexes. But what selecting all will do here is allow you to see all of the segment details and device details for your entire domain for those who were mapped to a segmentation system. So in the segment details tab, we provide additional demographics based on the consumers that are populated in those segments. So it's not the general segmentation consumer data that's provided as a stock option. This is actual people, actual visitors to your website that comprise those segments. So we can see here 32%, 0.07% of the traffic came from the age range of 45 to 54. So that detail could help you target. If you're placing an ad, you might want to first understand which segments you want to target, and then if you have the option, depending on which channel, you might want to more heavily target the age range of 45 to 54 and 35 to 44, as that would comprise about 62% of your total traffic. We also provide other details such as household income, marital status, home ownership, whether they rent or own a home, and how long they've been in their home, as well as the top states that where the households originate that came to your site. On the media channel reach, we also give you an idea of how many people you can reach across the different channels that we just talked about. So if you look at your current traffic, you have 1.5 million visitor households that came to your site during this time frame, and we can reach 9 million of those on social media. We can have a total reach of 9 million display ads based on those households. Multiple people might preside in a household, so usually there are more people that we can reach beyond just the household number that is listed there. So if one household has 4 people in it, we're saying that you can reach up to 4 or 6 people per household in a display campaign, and that's why it's an exponential number there. Similarly powerful is if you want to just target a few segments. It's probably more powerful when we look at the the tabs below. So in this case, the top 3 segments are segment 30, 33, and 61. As I change the top segments here, it will update everything in the page below. So now in the highest opportunity audiences, we still see just the 3 that I have highlighted, what their indexes are. But you'll also notice on the segment details that the top 3 segments are now listed, and all of the age, gender, household income, marital status details now are reflective of those top 3 segments. So you can see when we change to just the top 3 segments, how your age breakdown changes ever so slightly, and now the top age group is 35 to 44. So if you wanted to target those top 3 segments and in that age range, you're more likely of hitting your best group, your best audience. So for example, if you wanted to learn more about segment 33 in the Second City startups, you can click here on the link we have to Claritas My Best Segments and click on segment details here. And you can see the listing of all 68 Prism Premier segments. And by clicking on the Second City Startups, which was our top segment from this example, you can see a lot more information about the segment itself. How many US households are in that segment, what's their median household income, some other demographic traits. And the free version even gives you some insights into their lifestyle and media traits. So this segment is most likely to own a Mitsubishi and eat at Jack in the Box. The other powerful thing from this tool is to see the top indexing places in the country or the counties where these segments preside. So Manassas Park City has by far the highest indexing, so 14 times more likely to be segment 33 in this county compared to others. And you have a map that can show you, you can drill into it and it'll show you in the country, maybe you're interested in targeting nationally or locally, it'll tell you where those best customers, where those segment 33s live and how they like to consume media, and you can find them where they are. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of the targeting. If at any time you want to target those groups specifically, we have this click here to engage this audience, and you can just type in a subject line. I'm interested in targeting segment 33. And then you hit submit. And the message will be sent to the account manager assigned to your client account, and that can get the conversation started on the best ways to target that audience. Back to the segment details and device details. So we talked about how when you select the top 3 segments up top, you're able to see the details just for those segments, just for the people that are in those segments down here below. We also receive information from the Pixelfire on the type of device that the people that comprise these top 3 segments were on, they were using during the time they visited your website. So this can also help you in your targeting efforts. So device types, 64% of people came in on a mobile device, only 32% came on a desktop. So in that case, you might want to focus more on mobile ads for those segments. We also give a breakdown of the operating systems that were being used, so iOS versus Windows and Android, and the specific device models that were being used. So it looks like the top device to go onto this website with almost 37% of users were on an Apple iPhone. So as a takeaway, if you wanted to share this with your internal team, your marketing team, after viewing this, you can always download a report. And if you highlight both PDF and CSV file, it'll take a snapshot of the site as it is. And if I click download file here, but the PDF is a good takeaway if you need to print it out and take it into a meeting that tells you which website you were looking at, what time frame, and gives you all of the details we just looked at. So your segment details, the reach that you have, and then the device details are included in this. We also have, and we'll go into another module, we'll go deeper on this on another training, another demo, but we also have the Create Audience button. So by clicking this and selecting Create Target Audience at Scale, this will port over these top 3 segments that we have highlighted right now into the AudienceAnywhere Audience Builder and allow you to further refine. So you'll start out in the Audience Builder with the top 3 segments here. So you'll start out with segment 33, 61, and it'll allow you to drill down farther to a specific target audience. So from the audience builder, you would also be able to say, I want to target those 3 segments, and I want them to be this age, and I want them to have this income, and I want them in the following states or zip codes. All of that is possible with the audience builder. And then you can save that audience again and send that to your account manager and talk to them about pricing for activating those specific segments and age groups and income groups all together. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about AudienceAnywhere and the new offerings in the professional tier subscription, feel free to reach out to your Claritas representative at 800-234-5973.